Hello and welcome to our full frost moon live cast. I am so excited to be with you here this evening and welcome you to our full moon. It's the night before Thanksgiving in the US. So I am, as a Canadian, um, grateful that I get to enjoy the energy of gratitude twice in 1 year. So, as you're hopping on, welcome to those who are joining us. I see Heidi and Lisa. Please introduce yourselves and let me know, let us all know actually, where in the world you're joining us from. So, as people are dropping in, hi Michelle, welcome. So far we have all Toronto folks. So as you're joining us this evening on the live cast, I'd love to know where in the world you are and what the weather is like in your part of the world. Since here in Toronto, it's a very cold winter's day and there's snow all over the ground. Not a lot, but still, there's snow on the ground. And yeah, it's one of those clear days where winter, even though it's supposed to be a month away, feels like it's started. So, yes, as Heidi is reiterating, Heidi in cold Toronto. So, as you join, please let me know and let us all know where in the world you're joining us from and what the weather is like where you are. So I'll just wait as people are hopping on to let us know where you are and what the weather is like where you are, since here it's really cold. And I have been hidden away in my house all day long, or in my apartment, I should say, today, because of course, I got my period today. And that's right before the full moon, which is actually technically happening on Friday in the wee hours, just after midnight Eastern. So I'm clearly, if you don't know about the different cycles, but I'm clearly on a red moon cycle. All right, so June is also joining us from Toronto. It looks like we have a lot of Toronto people here today. I suppose it makes sense since we are feeling the energy of winter, and today we're dropping into the stillness and timelessness that this weather has actually inspired me, because it is the frost moon after all. And the frost really does, the snow and the cold and the frost really does inspire us to slow down. So that's the gift of the wintry cold months here where we are in the world. And let's see, Carol Ann is joining us from Wawa, which is also apparently a winter wonderland. Minus 25 Celsius. My goodness. Wow. And Brienne is also in Toronto. Alicia is joining us from Prince Edward County, so just around the corner. And June, I'm not sure where June is joining us from, so let us know, June. And June is also bleeding today. She's also on her period. So June just answered my next question. June said that my cycle skipped October and thought I was in menopause, but today she got her period. Awesome, June. I hope you're happy about that. So I'm curious where everybody else is in their cycle. I'm bleeding. June is bleeding. Anyone else having their period right now with the full moon. Carol Ann said, cycle began Monday night. All right, so today is Wednesday. So Carol Ann, that's pretty close to the full moon, I would say. So I guess it's within 5 days. So you're kind of a purple/red moon cycler. If you don't know what that means, we have an article on the blog that tells us about the different, where your period falls. It determines, I should say, which kind of woman you are, red moon, white moon, and we have now pink moon and purple moon. So I'll talk a little bit more about our cycles and the moon towards the end of the live cast. Alicia says she's due any day, so another red moon woman. Carol Ann says she always gets her period right before the full moon. Rebecca says, got my period today too. Heidi, oh, switch to a white moon cycle. So Heidi is going to be ovulating shortly. Emily Cat says she's in Pennsylvania. Welcome, Emily. Wonder what the weather is like there. Let us know. And Alicia says, I switched back and forth from red to white cycle twice in the last year. So totally normal, Alicia, especially if you don't have, and most of us don't have, a perfect 28-day cycle. So it would make sense that your cycle could be going back and forth. We'll talk a little bit more about our personal full moon time towards the end of the live cast. So if you haven't shared yet where you are currently in your cycle right now, so even if you don't have your period now, I'm curious where you are in your cycle right now. Emily says period around Friday of this week, so right on the red moon. And it's chilly in Pennsylvania. They had a snowstorm too on Thursday. Yes. So we are mostly, sounds like, all on this side of the world today. And Shelley says, I'm just beginning my fertile days. So also on a white moon cycle. So most of us seem to be on a red moon, one sort of purple/red, and a couple of white moon cyclers. All right, cool. So like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of our live cast as we get deeper in. And for those of you who are new around here, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Zara Haji, founder of Yoga Goddess. And of course, I love everything related to periods and the moon, except for cramps, of course, which I had today, which I haven't had for the last couple of cycles. So it was a little bit, took an Advil, thankfully it passed. And truthfully, it was one of my big reasons for starting Yoga Goddess way back. Oh my gosh. I guess it was, I first got the inspiration in 2006, 7, something around there. And it was because I was doing a yoga program specifically about the connection between women's bodies and our cycles. So actually it was a women's studies program, and I chose the topic of women's cycles and the moon. And because I discovered this connection between our cycles and the moon and the profound healing that comes when we acknowledge, honor, and work with this connection. And it was shocking to me that so few women knew anything about it. So I made it my mission to change that. And that's how my baby, my signature program, Moon Goddess, was born. And that's my fertility yoga program, which is actually now practiced, amazing, by women in over 25 countries who are either trying to conceive or who want to heal period problems. So the moon and women's bodies are two of my favorite things to talk about. So if you haven't answered my question yet, where are you right now in your cycle? Just please share that in the comment section, and then I'll explain at the end of today's live cast what your personal full moon time is. because it depends on where your period lands in relationship to the moon. And it holds important information about you as a woman in so many different aspects of your life. So, coming back to the frost moon, and today, as part of our theme, as we're coming towards the end of the year, as the seasons are clearly changing, at least in our part of the world, most of us seem to be in the northern and eastern hemisphere tonight, which is a little bit unusual. And, for this evening, we're focusing on the theme of timelessness. And I find that winter is such a beautiful opportunity. As much as I hate the cold and I love the summer and the heat, what I really appreciate about winter is that it forces us to pause. It forces us to slow down. It is undeniably beautiful. When, I opened the curtains yesterday, I think it was, and everything was covered in snow and white and sparkling with the sun. It really, it's really a sight to behold. It's so beautiful. And it really does create not only a pause and a slowing down, but a call towards reflection, which is so needed in our tendency in our life, in our world, to be constantly running around like we're racing against the clock, always feeling like we're falling behind our list of to-dos. And especially if you're in your holiday season, if you're in the States and you have Thanksgiving tomorrow, Christmas is also around the corner. There's so much to do, and it feels like constantly it's just we have too much to do, too much going on. And I want you to just take a moment to sense what that feels like in your body. Because when we're rushing, when we have so many things to do, it definitely brings with it a sense of anxiety. And there's this tension that rises in the body. We get tight, we feel kind of constricted inside, there's stiffness. And when we let that go, when we feel like we have time, when we're, lying on the beach, when we're snuggled under the covers, when we're in front of a roaring fire, curled up with a book, there's all this spaciousness that comes from that. And it feels timeless. It feels like time expands, it stretches. And so that's what we're going to drop into tonight. A space that allows us to be, allows us to create, and helps us to drop into spaciousness. So instead of contraction and shortage, it feels like the flow of abundance. And as I was saying a little bit earlier, that's the beauty of following the flow of the seasons. Especially if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, it really does this time of year beckon us to listen and follow the natural rhythms of the earth and our bodies. Because just like the changing seasons and the waning and the waxing of the moon, our female bodies also follow a cyclical rhythm. And I want to talk about that more after our meditation, but just to kind of give you a little bit of planting a seed, have you noticed how your moods and emotions begin, especially if you're like me on a red moon cycle right now? Maybe you've noticed how your mood and emotions in the last few days have begun to turn inward. So if you're either on your period or premenstrual right now, there's this natural inward call to slow down, to pause and reflect. And if we don't do that, we feel irritable, we feel angry, contracted, frustrated, because it's like we're not able to listen to that natural call to slow down. And on the flip side, if you're closer to ovulation right now, have you noticed that your energy has been rising? It's similar to the spring and summer months where you feel that call outward because you do feel more energized, action-oriented, and social when you are in the first half of your cycle, right? So if you're not aware that your body follows these cyclical changes and that these changes do flow in sync with where you are in your cycle, then you're really missing out on important clues, like I said earlier, about who you are as a woman. And since we're approaching the end of the year, and it's such an important time for reflection as we come to the end of, my God, I can't believe it, 2018 is almost over. We're at the cusp of 2019. Imagine when we couldn't even think about when 2020 felt like a million years away. It's just around the corner. So it's really, I think, an important time. We don't usually take enough time to reflect on our year, reflect on where we are in relationship to where we set out to be, our intentions at the beginning of the year, what we cultivated, what we're grateful for, what we want to carry forward into the next year, what we are letting go of. And that was, my question, if you saw my reflection question before the live cast went live, since it's American Thanksgiving, and since it's the time of year where things are coming to an end, closing, we're letting go. We've already let go of, here anyways, let go of the fall, but we're still in autumn, technically speaking. There is a time of mourning that comes with all deaths, and winter is a type of death. Menstruation is a type of death. And in this time of mourning, which is actually, interestingly enough, another name for this full moon, the morning moon, which I just discovered today, actually. And so I just want to open up the opportunity to reflect for you personally. What is it that you are letting go of, releasing in your life? And it could be something as simple as a habit or a routine that you have been following. It could be on a bigger scale, like a relationship, or something that, like a goal that you've been working towards that maybe no longer feels as relevant for you in your life as priorities change. But before you let it go, the post that I shared with you, the author suggests that you think about how this thing that you're letting go of, how it served you in your life. Because there was a time where there was, in some way, it was contributing to you in your life. And I found that for me personally was really an important question because, as many of you know, I let go of a very long-term relationship not too long ago. And so it's so nice to take a moment to reflect on what I'm grateful for from that relationship. So is there something in your life that you're releasing that you can sort of have a moment to be thankful, to appreciate how it served you in your life and what it brought forward in your life? And if anyone wants to share, then I will be happy to receive your answers. Let's see. Anyone else wants to share? We have some comments. Let's see. June is also close to ovulation. Thank you for sharing that, June. Let's see. So feel free to share if you'd like what it is that you are releasing and how it's contributed to you in your life and what you're grateful for in terms of its contribution in your life as you get ready to let it go. So feel free to share. I'll just give it a few moments. So Emily says, I'm starting a new full-time job in December. I let go of struggle of my previous job to have more stability in my life. My current job blessed me in many ways, met many wonderful families and kids in that speech therapy job, and it stretched me in many ways too, lots of driving, intensive. So I guess it was an intense job, huh? So thank you so much, Emily, for sharing that. So whether or not you're sharing it in the comments, just take a moment to reflect what it is that you're grateful for what you're releasing and how it's contributed to your life. Hi, Erica. Welcome. And I see Odessa joined and Alia is also here. So welcome all of you. So we're going to drop into our meditation for this evening. So this beautiful meditation was actually shared with me during my yoga training program. So many moons ago. So I did that between 2003 and 2005. I can't tell you the name of this woman, but I do want to say that it was shared with our class and I loved it so much. One of the reasons I love this meditation so much, it's a meditation on timelessness. And so many of us, as I mentioned earlier, constantly feel like we're running out of time, we're getting too old, we haven't gotten all of our, I's dotted, T's crossed, all of our items checked off the list, whether they're life goals or just things to do in a day. And so in all of that rushing and all of that feeling like there's never enough time, we tighten and contract, and it's so uncomfortable. So my invitation for you this evening and in this season of fall, winter, is to give yourself permission to drop into this spaciousness. And I'm just plugging in my computer because I saw the battery is low. This spaciousness and this timelessness. So let's go ahead and get comfortable wherever you are. So feel free to lie down if you're in a place so you can lie down, or just sit back and get comfortable. And my nose is stuffy. Give me a moment. So let's get comfortable. And if it feels comfortable for you to do, go ahead and close your eyes. Bringing yourself more fully to this space. Take a couple of deeper breaths than usual to bring your attention into the here and now, feeling the support beneath you, feeling your body relax more and more into this support. And now, as you continue to breathe more and more deeply, bring your focus to a more inner place. And imagine that there's a ball of light hovering over your feet. And you can feel just the right amount of heat coming from this light. And you can feel the effects of the light shining down on your feet. And this light is taking lots of time to move into the nooks and crannies of your feet. And as it does this, it brings with it a sense of timelessness, that there is no rush. That this light has enough time to go into every cell of your feet. And now this light is expanding. So you now feel this light moving over your calves, in and out of your knees and your thighs. And you can feel the effects of the light moving over and deeply into your legs, into your knees, into your thighs. And as it does this, it brings with it a sense of timelessness, that there is no rush, that it can move into all parts of your legs and your thighs. And it's continuing to do that throughout your feet. And as it does this, it brings with it a sense of timelessness, that there is no rush. And as this light continues to shine down on your feet and your legs and your thighs, it is now expanding up over the core of your body, over your abdomen, your hips, and the lower parts of your arms. This light is expanding over your body, and you can feel just the right amount of heat coming from this light. And as you continue to take deep breaths, You can feel this light visit every cell and every part of your body, bringing with it a sense of timelessness, that there is no rush. And now bring your attention to the upper part of your body. The light begins to shine on the upper part of your body. And as it does this, you can feel just the right amount of heat moving down into all parts of your shoulders, your upper arms, your chest, up and down your spine, and just the right amount of heat is shining down on these areas, moving into every cell. And feel how this light brings with it a sense of timelessness. So that now from the bottom of your feet, through your legs, and your whole core, you can feel its warmth. And you can feel that it brings this sense of timelessness, that there's no rush. And now bring your attention to your neck, your face, your ears, your eyes, and inside your head. As this light is expanding to move up, so that you feel just the right amount of heat expanding over this area, shining down into all the cells in your neck and head, and bringing with it that sense of timelessness, that there is no rush. So now your whole body can feel that light shining down on it, so that you feel that sense of timelessness. From the toes, the tips of your toes, to the tips of your hair. And now imagine yourself in a place where you haven't been before. A place you can create in your imagination and your senses. A place that you have permission to do absolutely nothing. A place that nourishes you, perhaps in nature. Perhaps there is a waterfall Perhaps there are beautiful trees along a riverbank. Notice what you are wanting to draw to this place. What is there in the environment to support your soul? And when the music comes in, let it be responsible for your soul. And when the music begins, let it take you to a place that is important for you to go today. When you're ready, slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your breath, back to your body, back into the room. I wanted to share this meditation with you all, this meditation on timelessness, because I know that so many of you have been feeling tapped out. You're overstretched, spread too thin at work and at home, always racing against the clock, and it's simply too much. And if you have a goal or an urgent desire that you're trying to bring forth from this place of overwhelm, the anxiety really ramps up. And that's one of the major complaints I hear from the women I work with. I'm so consumed with trying that I don't even feel like myself anymore. I don't recognize myself. I'm not the person I used to be. And that is the case whether you're trying to find a partner, whether you're trying to find a job, or whether you're trying to lose weight or get pregnant. Anything that you're obsessing over, it really disconnects you from yourself. So I'd love to know for you what this meditation brought forward, and what this idea of dropping into timelessness and spaciousness rather than contraction and tension. What insights has that brought forth for you? Can you see the value and the abundance and in fact the necessity to have this space, to have this sense of fullness, like rather than depletion? It's like putting gas in the tank. You can't really get anywhere if you're on empty. And so as you nourish yourself, as you fill up your vessel, then from this place of abundance, of feeling nourished and full, it's so much more, the possibility of creation from this place is far more probable than one where you're feeling tightly contracted. And that was one of my client, Alana's experience. So Alana wants to become a mother. And like many women who are trying to conceive, Alana's life became focused on baby making. It's what she thought about when she ate, when she had sex, when she saw pregnant women and babies. It consumed her. So finding relief from that constant thinking and worrying and searching was really huge. And in fact, she said that she discovered a calm and a brand new self-love that helped her not only on her fertility journey, but inside her own body. And so that's what I want to share with you today. Whatever it is that you're struggling with or trying to create, the key is as simple as understanding your body's rhythmic connection to the moon, similar to the seasons. And if you've been following me for a while, then you have some inkling that a woman's menstrual cycle mirrors the phases of the moon, and it links her own fertility to the fertility of the earth herself. And that link exists inside all women, whether you are cycling or not. And that includes you as well. All women have this link and this connection. And when you can understand and connect with your feminine, you will feel it. And that calm self-love will wash all over you. And all that's required is that you bring an intentional awareness to your menstrual cycle and its relationship to the moon phases. And I want to show you how to do that. So as you begin to pay attention to how you feel in your body and your mind and your spirit, so it's all aspects of yourself, not just the physical symptoms, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, as you look at all of these aspects of yourself throughout the month and you begin to chart those changes in relationship with the moon, you'll learn exactly what your cycle is trying to communicate with you. Because there is a natural ebb and flow to your cycle. And when you work with it rather than against it, then you know all the places you feel stuck in your life, whether it's the bedroom or in your work or in your fertility and your family relationships, everything will start to flow so much more easily. And you'll also learn about the effect of the moon on your womb if you're trying to get pregnant, and exactly how to use this knowledge to maximize your fertile time. So as I mentioned before, my client Alana, she was doing this practice of moon charting just for a few weeks, and then she wrote me to say that I can't believe how much better I feel. I feel calmer, happier, and more confident than I ever have in my life. Even the acne on her forehead, which had plagued her for months, apparently began to clear up. And what I loved most about what she wrote, she said, I find this journey has helped me even outside of wanting a child. It has made me a calmer and self-loving woman. So that's, of course, what I want for you. I want for myself. I want for all of us to create from this place of fullness, because you simply cannot create from a state of emptiness. You want to feel spaciousness, love, abundance, because that's where everything flows from. And it was with I had a bundle program with my Moon Charting Mastery program, bundled with Lunar Conception that Alana used. And I'm offering it again as a special Black Friday sale for all of you who are part of my community. So if you are wanting to transcend anxiety and start to create from a place of fullness, from self-confidence, self-love, then I hope you'll give yourself this gift. And for both programs, we're offering a super special price of only $97. So I hope you'll take advantage of it. If you haven't been part of any of our programs before and you've been joining us for these live casts over several moons and several months, and you haven't been charting your cycle with the moon, this is a really beautiful opportunity to create a practice that really marries your connectionship with your personal cycle and the moon and what it means for you in your own life. And we just created these brand new beautiful moon cycle charts. I'm so excited. We finally got the final copy done today, so I can't wait to print it out myself and start to chart using these brand new updated charts. It includes, of course, a live video workshop and so many bonuses that I don't want to take up the time to list them all. You can check them out. We'll include the link below. And so for those of you who are interested for understanding more about your personal full moon time, then I'd like to just wrap it up with a conversation about that. Because there's sometimes confusion when we're looking at our personal cycles compared to the phases of the moon, because traditionally women would cycle in two different ways, the red moon cycle and the white moon cycle. So I referred to that briefly at the beginning of our live cast. And the red moon cycle, which is the cycle I'm on and many of us seem to be on in our live cast this evening, means that our personal full moon time is not when the full moon is in the sky, but rather when we're ovulating in our cycle. So that would be considered so my personal full moon time will actually be closer to the new moon. And so it can feel kind of confusing when there's this notion that we should all be ovulating with the full moon and menstruating with the new moon. But for many of us who are into healing work, who are teachers and guides, we're often cycling with the full moon, which means getting your period with the full moon. And there's this notion in many other schools of thought that it's not the best cycle for trying to conceive. Well, I have many clients who've conceived on a red moon cycle, and I'm sure there's many babies who've been conceived on a red moon cycle. So certainly it's not the same fertility cycle as the earth, because even the earth is considered more fertile when the full moon is up. And so there are farming practices that actually take advantage of full moon planting. But for you, your personal full moon time is going to be when ovulation falls in your cycle. So for those of you who are ovulating closer to the full moon, then this would be your personal full moon time, and it syncs up directly with the moon in the sky. And that's beautiful too. In Lunar Conception, which is the program that is currently bundled on a special offer with Moon Charting Mastery, I explain that you can actually create like supercharged ovulation time by understanding when your natal fertile phase is. So that is sort of an extra piece of information that we're not going to cover here tonight. But if you are trying to conceive, it's a really, it could be an important piece of information for you to supercharge your time of ovulation. So if anyone has any questions about or clarifications about their personal full moon time, feel free to add them to the end. And I'd love to know how the meditation was for all of you. If you can add that to the comments as well. Emily said, it felt so good to go to a different place in my mind and my body. The warmth and peace I felt. Thank you so much for sharing that, Emily. Anyone else want to share what the meditation was like for them? I love this meditation, as I've said multiple times tonight, because there's so much generally pressure to get things done, and there's this constant rush against time. And every time I do this meditation, I just feel so much more relaxed and peaceful, and that time is, instead of disappearing, it feels like it's expanding. And you know, recently I feel like I've come to a place in my life where time doesn't hold the same meaning, and that sense of it's running out feels different. So I'm very thankful. This is what I'm thankful for right now in my life, that I feel like I am creating a different relationship with time. And I appreciate that this season of winter is giving me this opportunity to have and establish a different relationship with time in my own life and in my own journey. And that the universe can do anything, and it can everything and anything can happen in a split second. And it's all about timing rather than time. So that has been a huge discovery for me, as I shared on last month's live cast. There is so much magic and possibility in our lives, and that magic lives inside of our bodies, and so much of that lives inside our cycles. And once we learn how to harness that magic and work with our menstrual cycles and the moon, we have so much that opens up to us. And I can't wait for you to experience that for yourself if you haven't been already. So I'll just check quickly. No comments. So if you'd like to share how the meditation was for you, I'd love to know. Please share it in the comments. I'm sending you lots and lots of full moon love. And for those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving in the US. And good night. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you again for sharing the full moon with me tonight. And I hope you have a beautiful, timeless, spacious rest of your November. And we'll see you again in December for the full cold moon, which will be our worldwide moon blessing with Miranda Gray on the winter solstice. Sending you lots and lots of love. Bye for now.